Alex failed tech. Joey is back in it. The round of 8. How can you doubt when he's so great? Even years like the cha-cha slide after a cheers, or like the Mets after they hung out with Grimace. Even your Joey, life tried every day to prepare you that you should be afraid of Logano in the even years. He'll do it for even more. And all along I believe he would find a way, like time and time again. Don't doubt Logano in the even years. He'll do it for even more.
A fun final Jeopardy category to start the week, corporate mascots. Here's the clue. A 2014 tweet said that this mascot was the embodiment of a milkshake or taste bud. 30 seconds. Good luck. Start on the end. Karen Raddick had 4,600. And the response of, she wrote down, who is Grimace? It is Grimace, the purple blobby guy from McDonald Land. How much will you add? Grimace gets you $3,000 extra dollars, 7,600 for you. Jack Swansey was in second place with 14,600. Is he thinking about Grimace, as we all should be? Oh no, Sonic. He wagered big, drops him down to $1, I'm afraid. Eamon Campbell had the lead, 14,800. But did he have Grimace? He's right. He'll add how much? A lot. 14,700. A big payday for you. 29,500. And you're now a two-day champion with a total of $43,200.
Welcome on in to Happy Hour. My name's Trey Lyle, 1/3 of your hosting duty. Joining me, Dalton Hopkins, Michael Massie, and the man who you just saw made his national television debut last night, wherever you saw it, Jack Swansey. He did lose on Jeopardy, unfortunately. My first question to you, Jack, did you mistakenly follow the strategy of the boss man, Tom Bowles, when he plays Frontstretch Jeopardy, in terms of you basically, played a really good game, was winning for a part of it, and then choked it all away on Final Jeopardy? Like, is that the strategy you followed? Because it looks like you did. And, unfortunately, Sonic the Drive-In or Sonic the Hedgehog is not great.
I know that now. I was behind heading into final by $200. And when you're in second heading into final, you kind of got two options. Either you can play against the person in third, make a sort of smaller bet and hope the person leading gets it wrong. Or you can wager everything and hope the person leading gets it wrong and you win more money. And there was really only one option, which is if you ain't first, you're last. All in, except for $1. Ended my time on Jeopardy with $1 because I did not know that Grimace was the embodiment of a milkshake or taste bud.
So are you now like have a curse against 2311 in the Grimace car?
That was what I thought of immediately. That was like the first thing. When they said Grimace, the first image that came to my mind was that purple number 23 car. So yeah. If I'd had more time, if I'd, not been up on a stage with a bunch of cameras pointed at me, Maybe
Wait,
I was
show
on
that
it.
you did look at the camera during Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, I did. You could see
Well-
in my face. I did not know what was going on.
This face right here. Oh, let me back up.
I
That
think
is the face.
America
I
fell
thought
in
two
love with that
things.
face
I'm
last
like-
night.
I'm like, this is the face of somebody who knows they just won a bunch of money, or this is the face of a man who is taking an exam and just realized that he did not study the right chapters.
Have
And
you?
unfortunately,
Go
like
ahead.
the
In
latter.
the office where you just acknowledge the camera and give it a little look.
It's an
I like
oddity.
that you
Sort
took
of
Reese
moment.
Bobby's advice, but he was high when he said that advice.
Oh hell, Bobby! Yeah, Ricky, I was
It
high
could
when
be
I said that.
second, third,
Fourth.
Your
Hey,
first
you
answer was a
did.
different Will Ferrell and Rainn Wilson movie, Step Brothers. So keep it with that theme. What was that? So like overall, what was that experience like?
I mean, it was crazy. The funny thing is, well, among the things, the Jeopardy shoots the show like 15 minutes away from my office. So I didn't really get to go anywhere new or see anything new. But then it's on this big back lot, the Sony lot. And it's sort of like a whirlwind from the second you get there. And then they like put you through hair and makeup, and then you wait around for a long time. You do a rehearsal game. That goes by super fast. You wait around for a long time. And then you don't actually know, because they tape a bunch of episodes back to back. You don't actually know when you're going on. And I was first up. So it all happened super quickly. Watching it back last night, though, I could still remember my thought process for every answer, like which ones I knew but I didn't buzz in on fast enough, which ones I should have known and I knew, and I'd heard that song before a lot, but just second guessed myself because I didn't want to lose the lead, and then I choked it away at the end, Tom Bowles style.
Once again, showing how well I would do an actual Jeopardy, getting Rainn Wilson and John C. Reilly mixed up. So go Trey. Two. You are now formally invited to Frontstretch Jeopardy when we do it again. Warning: there will be a lot more chaos and misspellings in the answers that are provided when you give a question. Just because I am not as smart as Ken Jennings or who all those. I have instead of a team of producers, I have Caleb who while we were doing it was frequenting a Long John Silver's. Did you see any fried fish while you were there? Like, do you have any fried fish? No.
Ken Jennings, noted Long
I
John
see any-
Silver's.
Yeah.
Here.
Any have any Long John Silver's?
Not as far as I know.
So you didn't know the cha-cha slide? Like
That was the biggest sin. That one hurt me personally, Jack.
I was like, have you been to a wedding?
I'd been to a wedding 2 weeks before the 2 weeks
I
before
watched
the
that
episode.
broadcast. I watched that broadcast the whole time, and I knew about 3 answers, and that was one of them. And I was, you can ask my girlfriend. She just saw me screaming at my phone, "Cha cha slide, Jack! What is cha cha slide?"
For those watching, in the song I did at the beginning, that's one of the songs he missed, 1,000 Years, Christina Perri. And I referenced Cha Cha Slide and Grimace in there, all for our guest of honor. So it made you feel nice and welcome.
Here's the thing, though. Had I buzzed in on either of those and gotten them right, I would have been a hell of a lot more heartbroken at not knowing Grimace. So kind of all evens out in the end.
That's a very good point.
Matthew Jensen is agreeing with Caleb Barnes and is Long John the Goat. So congratulations on that.
Maybe that's Caleb's burner.
It could be. I didn't know. Does Caleb have a secret family with a baby? Because that's what this guy's holding.
Could be Caleb.
Caleb, congrats, man.
Should
So-
we start this thing?
You were telling us before we started recording, like that final Jeopardy. You clearly, we talked about did so. Like, what was your thought process? Did you just not guess a place with milkshakes? Played Sonic the Hedgehog before you got on or something?
So, well, we played a rehearsal game beforehand, and the final Jeopardy answer for that was, or the response for that was, What is Matchbox Cars?
Oh.
That one got me a little overconfident, I think. And then when it came time to play the actual game, I obviously had to make that really huge, crazy wager. And then my mind just went blank when I got it. It's like with Final Jeopardy, because I studied a whole bunch of them, either I knew it immediately or I was never going to figure it out. And unfortunately, I didn't know it. That 30 seconds ticked away, and I was thinking through every place that I know that has milkshakes, hoping that I could think of a mascot that has to do with a milkshake. And then I ran out of time, panicked, and said a place that has milkshakes. If I'd been thinking about which mascot looks like a taste bud the whole time, maybe I could have got it. If I'd remembered the Grimace 2311 paint schemes, maybe I would have got it.
I will say it would have been worse if it was like this car featured on a paint scheme.
Well, then I would have known it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but if you got that wrong, it'd have been like, oh my god. I will say you got a nice little dig to F1 fans in there by saying NASCAR's last, which is I trust you that it's true that NASCAR. So I didn't know this. NASCAR is actually older than Formula One.
Yeah, so the first season of the Cup Series was 1949, and the first season of the Formula One World Championship was 1950.
Boom.
So they got jealous of us.
It really, really upset some of our F1 guys. Michael Finley had an absolute meltdown in our group chat. So for one, I am proud of you. I am very proud of you for doing that. God bless you, Jack.
I will say this. The fact that was on in the start of the Yankees ALCS game and game one was on at the same time, my heart barely could handle it. Because I had I was like as if I was a regular sports fan rooting for you, especially once like the middle, like you basically, if you watch Jeopardy enough, and I know you know about middle, like start of like double Jeopardy. All right. Either it's a blowout or these two people are competing it, and then the third person's off to the side. No, first was it Caitlin? I don't remember.
Karen was
Karen and Eamon, right? Eamon. I don't care. Yeah. But you two were going head to head, and I was like, oh my god, Jack's gonna do this. And like, were you like nervous at all throughout it, or were you just like kind of like in the moment, just like, this middle country in Asia is cool?
When I was doing well, I wasn't nervous. When I started getting things wrong and when Eamon and Karen were beating me on the buzzer was when I got more and more nervous, and increasingly towards the end, and then especially during final.
There was a middle part where you were just like knocking them out, and I'm like, boy, Jack, like look at this guy, and you were in the lead by like at least like $2,000, like $3,000. Like
you were like $200 at that point in last place, and then you went on this rally and just like eclipsed them all.
Oh yeah, what's
it? You don't have to say it, Ken. I already know.
Yeah. I will say I got of all of the clues that were on that board, I got to answer almost all of the ones I really wanted to.
That's good.
I would have liked to get Knives Out. I would have liked to get Whitey Bulger, and Arrested Development. But basically, other than that, I'm happy with the ones I got to answer. I'm glad there was one about the USS Constitution because I had studied that. So,
and you nailed the double Jeopardy. That's what matters.
I guessed on the double Jeopardy or the Daily Double.
The Daily Double.
That's what matters.
Based off your tone, you can tell you're like, dude. And then I don't even remember the answer, and you just said it.
I do. It's the red line.
Yeah, that was it. Which is ironic because Aaron Rodgers complained that Mike Williams wasn't on the red line in a football term later that night. So how about that?
Yeah, he should have known based on the signal he made up 8 years ago. He should have gotten that right.
But overall, so like take us through, like, obviously I think it's the online, like you have an online audition and then like an actual audition, right?
So all in the process took me about 6 years from, hey, I think I might want to be on Jeopardy to getting to be on the show. And the at-home test I took quite a few times. And then if, like I did, you got kind of lucky and the at-home test that month had a lot of things that they'll invite you back to do a second test, but that one's over Zoom. So that I guess they can make sure you're not cheating. And if you do well on that, I made it to that stage, I think, twice. Then you do an audition, which used sort of pre-2020 to be in person, and they'd have to like go around the country. But I was able to do it on Zoom because I took it in like 2021. Did the audition over Zoom, buzzed in with a pen, staring at the same webcam, much like NASCAR Jeopardy. And then, at some point after the audition, they'll give you the call. And that's when they said, you're going to be on Jeopardy. And then with like some stuff with the host search and the writer's strike, it kind of got pushed down. But then they did, find the time to schedule me, and I got to go be on Jeopardy, which was something I wanted to do for a really, really long time.
Part of me wishes they picked Aaron Rodgers just for this moment that you could dunk on, that you got to meet Aaron Rodgers, and Michael Massie and Brian Nolan can't say they've met Aaron Rodgers, but it's a little thing sometimes.
I mean, I think Ken does a fantastic job now.
Oh, I think he did great. Obviously, Ken Jennings, he's the greatest of all time, right? I think he's already proven that.
He won it. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions for Jack before we talk about NASCAR? I know we're talking a lot about Jeopardy to start.
I keep forgetting that this is a NASCAR podcast.
This is a NASCAR. Well,
It
this is technically also a Jeopardy podcast because we played Jeopardy
NASCAR
twice.
Jeopardy podcast, and the next time we have NASCAR Jeopardy, it'll be a game of champions. It'll be.
I was gonna say
two champions here.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dalton and Massie have more Jeopardy wins than Jack at this point.
For now.
Yeah.
NASCAR Jeopardy is coming up.
We won one less dollar.
That's true.
Jack's gonna Kyle Busch us and come from the professional league down to the Xfinity series of Jeopardy and beat up on us young kids.
Shane Van Quisbergen.
I was going to say next time, if you ever get another chance to be on the show, please don't pull a Tom Bowles again. Like, I don't want to have to meme you and put a James Harden beard on you like I did with Tom, because he legitimately choked Frontstretch Jeopardy. And then you can't duck us. You can't be like him and duck us for 4 months like he did last time. So I just want to preface that.
Before we move on, Shane Van Quisbergen is absolutely genius, and I've never heard that. I don't know if that's a new thing, but wow, that is incredible, Jack. Unbelievable.
So we got Puke Combs.
Shane Van Quisbergen.
Shane Van Quisbergen. Just popping some nicknames here. All right. As always, sit back, relax, crack open that cold one, unless you're driving or of age, of course. Let's enjoy happy hour. Probably a little extended edition because we're here with Jack. But Jack, you got to watch the racing this weekend. Obviously, you are pretty smart, as we've proven. But something unique happened with Alex Bowman, and I know you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. So Alex Bowman, after winning the Chicago Street Race, put himself into the playoffs and went on an absolute tear. And he made the round of 8, and then he didn't.
Wow.
He got, as our own Stephen Stump identified in the piece that he wrote, a really, really, really unique penalty because his number 48 Chevy was found to be more than 17 pounds underweight in post-race inspection. He was disqualified from his 18th place finish, credited with last, and as a result of that, he did not make the round of 8. And Joey Logano got in instead, which is very, very convenient for even year.
For Michael Massie.
For Michael Massie, who got to write a song about it that also made fun of me for losing on Jeopardy. So,
whose favorite thing in the world is Joey Logano even year.
It's my favorite NASCAR stat, other than the Kyle Busch win streak that's about to end.
But Massie, haven't you heard? It's not a real stat.
Yeah, I know, right? Then why does he keep doing it? Why does he keep doing it?
But yeah, I mean, to have Bowman eliminated kind of through no fault of his own after that team was able to put together such a clutch string of playoff runs, it left me feeling kind of weird because this is kind of the deal that you make. I think when NASCAR decided to start DQing people for rules violations, this was always a possibility. And, when Denny Hamlin had the win taken away at Pocono, we all kind of felt weird about it. And then it was especially strange to know that Hendrick aren't going to appeal it because they don't think they would win. Even though we all saw that onboard video from Michael McDowell there, you could see crap falling out the bottom of the 48 car as he goes over the turtle. I guess I'm going to open the floor to you guys. I don't really know how to feel about it. Like, should I be kind of angry at NASCAR or angry at HMS, angry at Bowman, angry at Joey Logano?
I was going to say it's just very bittersweet because I think Alex Bowman, you could argue, had the best playoff so far, considering where he was. And, I mean, he probably had the most pressure out of anyone in the first 2 rounds, considering the rumors around him. I mean, to possibly lose your ride at Hendrick Motorsports, like, that's big. Like, that's, it's not as big as winning a championship, but it's pretty big given, and he delivered in a way that was very impressive considering, the and it feels like probably the 48 made it as close as they could, and then the crap falling out, it's like, all right, we probably cheated, but since the crap fell, like, we can't get we would have to admit we cheated in order to kind of win the appeal, and then there's no point in that. So I think I feel bittersweet about it. Bowman did nothing wrong. Bowman had a great performance, and Joey had a good performance on, I think it proved the regular season mattered with what Tyler Reddick did and everything. But you feel, I think he kind of got screwed by HMS trying to do, and maybe the track itself with the way the Roval's designed and the, that kind of flight he took that resulted in what happened. Like, it just kind of is a, HMS getting everything they possibly could out of the car, a track that's fundamentally flawed in some aspects with the Roval, which we'll talk about, leading to, a lot of different things going bad. And it's just unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I think if it was the team doing something to push the issue, then I just have a hard time understanding why. Because they were in a pretty good position. He didn't light the world on fire, so whatever they did didn't make a difference. I think I went to look up the results, and I was like, oh yeah, he got DQ'd, so you can't see where he actually finished now. I think it was 18th though.
Mm-hmm.
But his teammate Kyle Larson was spanking the field, and he passed post-race tech. So I'm not sure what if they tried to do something. I don't get why. It really feels like they let Bowman down, if that is the situation. And yeah, like you said, Alex Bowman did nothing wrong. I mean, Joey Logano didn't do anything wrong, and I'm glad that NASCAR is cracking down on stuff like that. If you do fail, not letting it slide. The rules are the rules. That's we've seen some. We'll get into more of the officiating stuff lately, but we've seen them change the DVP on the fly and stuff like that. So I'm glad they didn't change the post-race inspection on the fly. But yeah, you do really feel bad for Bowman. And again, I overheard a Carolina Panthers fan say one time at a Panthers-Packers game, if you cheat, you're supposed to beat. And they cheated, but they didn't beat it. So I don't know what the deal was with this.
Yeah, if they were cheating, I don't think they were actually cheating, because if they were, it clearly was not working. Because he still finished 18th, although he did win stage 2, mm-hmm. So there is that. But then again, it's because he stayed out. I think going back to like one of you guys asked, like, who are we upset with? Do we be upset with NASCAR? Do we upset with Alex Bowman's team? I don't think there's really anybody you can be actually angry at, but you are allowed to be angry at the situation. There is no doubt that Alex Bowman was probably, I mean, it's obviously, this is all relative, right? This is an opinion based, but he was the last underdog in the playoffs. He was really the last one that was actually made it into the round of 8, unless you count Joey Logano now, but I don't really count him as an underdog, especially not in an even year, because God wills that he, for some reason, like the universe wills that he moves on to the championship 4. But I digress. I mean, now that storyline is gone. I mean, it's just like, Jack, you were saying, like, a few weeks ago, he was being considered, or Trey, you were saying it too. Like a few weeks ago, he was being considered to be out of the 48 car, or that was the rumor, right? I mean, I don't think it was ever going to happen, but that was the rumor. And there was a lot of pressure on him all of a sudden. And he turned that pressure into diamonds and even made it into a round where the number 48 Chevrolet has not been in since 2017 with Jimmy Johnson. So, and that was a great story. And now that story is gone because the car was 17 pounds lighter. Did that actually make a difference? Clearly not. So it just kind of sucks that like this situation even happened in the first place. But NASCAR has to enforce its rules. Its arms are tied. It's not like it can just kind of sweep it under the rug. So it's an unfortunate situation.
I'll just add real quick that if we had these rules 15 years ago, 20 years ago, number 48 might not have 7 championships. Because if you remember, they were failing some post-race tech all the time back in the Jack and Jimmy Johnson.
What? They would never try to cheat. It's not like Chad Knaus got caught on video saying, hey, make sure you knock this part of the car out if we win.
I love the one where they pull the windshield tear off and it would flip up the decal on the roof and it would redirect the air differently.
Oh man,
that was Chad Knaus 5D chess situation
for sure.
I mean, like the NASCAR that permitted that, if that was still the post race rules that we had, people would probably be up in arms about the 17-pound too light car still getting to make it into the round of 8. So
they would have to add Joey Logano as a 9th. I'm just not going to do that.
Here's my fix to this whole situation. You leave Joey Logano in, but you add Jeff Gordon into the round of 8.
I'm shocked
we
you
make it
didn't
9 cars now. Yeah, that's a way better joke. We add Chris Buescher into the round of 9.
There you go.
William
Jack, you didn't know Dalton Hopkins will always pick Chris Buescher to win the championship. Just so you know.
Okay.
To catch you up here. This, I mean, we're not really going to talk about Joey Logano even year thing again, but like, I mean, I guess luck be the lady. Like that's what it feels like. It's like you kind of have to laugh at it at this point, right?
Even when the race is over, you cannot count out Joey Logano in an even year or an even numbered year. You just
that's
Matthew. They would never take away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. I think in any circumstance whatsoever,
except for 2015 Talladega. But
well, ironically, it went to Joey Logano.
Yeah,
that was an odd numbered year, though. That was an odd numbered year. It doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, but I was gonna add that. I've actually lost what I was going to say, though. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Oh, the time it took. That's something we got to do. There's got to be better about it.
Well,
like it took like 2.5 hours. I feel like they should give updates because I was listening to Denny Hamlin's podcast, Action Centrimental, and he was saying that like the 45 team was texting about, the 48's been pulled to the side. They're in timeout, basically. Which I feel like NASCAR, if they were giving fans those updates, it wouldn't be like such a shell shock and it wouldn't be so hard to accept. Where you're like, wait a second.
At 7:15 p.m., Toby Christie just basically dropped a big hint that said, reminder, results are not for the round 8 are not completely solidified until after post-race inspection is completed. I did quote tweet that with the Brian Windhorse,
Toby's got something. He knows something on the inside. How does he do that?
And I just, I was wondering what he did. And then NASCAR officially came out with it about an hour and a half later at 8:42. So I think why it took so long, and I honestly am in favor of it, is because they gave the 48 team as much leeway and runway as they could to not have to DQ it. Because they let him fill the car back up with fuel, let it like push water through it, like basically run all the checks. So that's why it probably took so long, is they NASCAR, to their credit, I think, because basically did not want to do this.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm just saying, give us some updates as what's going on.
Yeah, because some of us are writing columns that night, and some of us were about 80% done with our 1,500 word column.
I didn't have to write a column. I
don't really care.
I was watching
you,
Sunday Night
to be
Football.
honest.
Actually,
I care about other writers.
Actually, I don't want to say where. I don't want to say. Two people here know where I was during that, and I just will say everything is okay since that happened. But I'm not going to mention where I was Sunday night.
I was about 1,200 words done. Like I was about 1,200 words.
Matthew,
done.
Denny Hamlin is still alive, by the way, like still in the playoffs, right? I want to point that out. But it's a fair point.
I was about 1,200 words done with my column when that news broke, and of course, my entire column revolved around the fact that A, Alex Bowman was in, and B, the playoffs, the round of 8 remained the exact same picture as it was going into the Roval. So I had to rewrite all of that. So what to Massie's point? Yeah, I got it the right way.
Yeah, you had to rethink out loud, basically.
Yeah, and look, thinking is already hard for me. Okay, like not writing it, just like actually thinking is already hard for me.
Your brain hurt.
Me brain hurt sometime. Okay, me no write so good. So
no,
it's
me no write so good. Let's be clear.
Me sorry. Me apologize. No, like to learn about that, maybe not 3 hours after the actual race would have been really nice. So maybe like a heads up, like, hey, yo, the 48 card's been pulled to the side. My fingers would have been Park. Hold on, don't write about Alex Bowman for a second, okay?
Hey, yo. I mean, yeah. So all right, let's move to our next topic. Unless anyone wants to add one final thing.
I've got a story.
All right, here we go.
So
go ahead, Jack.
When Denny Hamlin got DQ'd from that win at Pocono, it was when I was writing Sunday News for Frontstretch, and wrote the race recap, submitted it, went back, added my quotes, did everything right, I think. Signed off for the day, took a shower, went on a nice walk in the park, and then the news broke. And I had sort of two options at that point, because we've got a lot of great writers on this staff who would have been willing to step in and do the piece.
And then me.
Yeah. Then I realized this is NASCAR history. I want to write this. And so what I did was I said, I'm on it, ran back to my apartment from the park and wrote the updated race recap that said who actually won the race, which I believe was Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
So the one time I thought about this is one of the most what ifs in NASCAR history that no one ever will talk about. So the Hail Melon happens in that race.
Yeah.
But people forget. So that's what got Ross into the playoffs and kicked Denny out. Brad Keselowski, if Ross doesn't do that move and finishes where he's at, it's like, I think it's 1 point. Brad Keselowski got disqualified in that race, and he finished in between them. Would have finished in between them. So theoretically speaking, if Ross doesn't do that move, he still makes it into the Final Four, but it's like the biggest, like, conspiracy, crazy disqualification of all time, because it's neither driver that gets affected by it. It's another driver who wasn't in the playoffs, gets disqualified, that swaps the Final Four. And it's like the biggest non-what if I can remember. Because I remember we were in, Massie and I were at least in that media center, and they announced Brad Keselowski gets DQ'd, and it's like, oh, okay. Like no one, but like 5 minutes later, you put it together. It's like, oh, what if Ross didn't do that move, and that's what happened? Like, good thing Ross did, and we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, I remember Bob Parker of Fox Sports said after that, he's like, the race is over, and Ross is still passing cars.
All right, let's move to our next topic, and you touched on it a little bit in your song. I mean, the most I would argue heartbreaking moment of this past weekend was in the Xfinity Series race, where probably one of the most popular, one of the best nice guys is someone, I think all of us have interacted with him at some point, and Parker Kligerman was, I mean, inches away from winning his first race, and it appeared he did. Right, Massie?
Yeah, he was like inches from the white flag when the caution came out for Leland Honeyman Jr. burying it into the tire barrier. And they had to re-rack him because he had not taken the white yet. And ultimately, Sam Mayer, who was better, had a really fast car. And I can't take anything away from Sam Mayer. He did a great job in that overtime restart and won the race. And Parker fell on back, got a tire rub from the contact between the two. And I think he ended up sixth.
Yeah, sixth.
Yeah, and ends up not moving on in the playoffs, not getting his first career Xfinity win. And it really just, I know there's like the feel good story part of it that really made everyone mad, where, you know, the guy that's won a lot of races already comes in and steals a win from an underdog. But just the fact that it took so long for this caution to come out, to the fact that the 48 team, coincidentally, another 48 team, was already celebrating. And Parker said he was like crying in the car because he thought he won the race, and only to hear that, nope, we got to go again. And I'll throw it out to you guys. I'll give my take in a second, but what did you guys make of just how long it took for that? It was 15 seconds, I believe, was the time.
I think it was 20 seconds.
20 seconds?
Either way.
It was way too long.
Yeah. But
like,
I'll throw it out there to you guys.
Go ahead, Dalton.
No, I mean, I was gonna say, like, I mean, at first I was just as upset as everyone else was to find out that because I was actually listening to the scanner, to the official scanner, and heard the race is not over, the leader did not cross the line. And I was just about as shocked as everyone else was, because I saw clear as day the flagman had the white flag and had no intention of grabbing the yellow, no intention of stopping whatsoever. But if we've learned anything from this year's wonderful finish of the Daytona 500, which was just so memorable and so great and did not anger anyone, is that it's not about the flag, it's about the lights. And the lights just so happened to come on literally 100, probably about, 2 feet away from Parker crossing the line. So it's almost like, if you're going to wait that long, just let him cross the line. Like, I mean, like the car was buried into the barrier. It was underneath tires. Like, it was not going to go anywhere. Why did we wait 20 seconds? And then they came out with a statement saying, oh, well, we don't have spotters over there. It took us a long time to figure out where the trouble was. And it's like, well, NBC showed it 20 minutes before that. Are you saying that you don't have as many cameras as NBC?
You don't even have the TV feed?
Or CW? My bad, not NBC,
CW.
CW.
It was an NBC crew. It was an
NBC crew, but
crew.
CW. But right, I mean, you don't have as many cameras as
I mean, you could put antennas on your freaking bunny ears on the freaking box, and then you get the CW. Like, that's how easy it is to watch this. No, you live in the boondocks, Massie. That's how normal people actually can get the CW.
Well,
where the NASCAR fans live.
I use YouTube TV because I don't have bunny ears, Trey. I don't live in the 19th century. All right.
I also use YouTube TV. I'm just saying that that's how basic you can get.
CW.
It's on basic cable.
Put live streams in your app, please.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
So anyway, but my point, we're digressing. But anyway, like, you're telling me that you don't have a TV's cameras as much as CW does? Like, it's unsatisfactory. Like, so going back to the original point, you waited that long because you couldn't find it. And then by the time you did find it, you were like, well, we got to put it out. I mean, so we're just going to put it out immediately, even though the leader is like right there at the line. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like I really want to say NASCAR did the right thing, but it just feels like it could have gone so much smoother than that.
Jack?
Yeah, can you guys hear me all right? I think I'm maybe...
Oh, no, yeah, we got you.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Loud and
Yeah,
clear.
hit the buzzer.
All right, just be a little faster next time. Now, the thing that always bothers me with this sort of like late race caution flag controversy, it always comes up. We're going to be talking about it forever. Is that after the stages and the overtimes and all that, it seems like NASCAR forgets that the caution flag is not the "ooh, let's have a restart so it's exciting" flag. It is a safety device. Like you throw the yellow flag when it is not safe to drive on the racetrack at full speed. And so, honestly, the fact that they didn't the fact they were willing to admit that they didn't see the car under the tire is, I mean, maybe that's an explanation, and maybe you believe it. I guess I will, sure. But like the fact that you didn't notice there was a car there for 20 seconds when the CW got it and everyone at home could see it. And if I were, if I had the buzzer, I would have been faster.
I mean, you would have. There we go. Jack Swansey now should be the race director for the Xfinity Series.
They should pay you 6-figure salary.
You become now. You can. So David Hoots was like, I think the race director for like everything for a while. So you can become the new David Hoots. Put it out. Put it.
$1.
Yeah, they just pay him $1 a race. Do it.
There we go.
I
mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, there are two parts to this. There is the heartbreak for Parker Kligerman, which would have been a true underdog. I mean, Big Machine Racing is definitely like an underdog team. I know they get a lot of RCR affiliation. I think Parker has grown that team so much in the last 2 years that when Nick Sanchez gets into the car, he's going to do really good in it. Like, Parker, for the work he put in to get to a full-time ride in the Xfinity Series and to get to that point, like, yes, he deserved that win. And I don't think it also takes away from, Mayer getting that type of win and putting himself in the playoffs is also a really good performance. It's like it showed his growth as a race car driver since he's joined the Xfinity Series. Like, both of those can be true. And you kind of tainted a really good finish where Parker was having the drive of his life holding off Sam Mayer. And to Sam's credit, he was doing everything he could without like sending it in there and taking, pulling an Austin Dillon at Richmond, which he didn't want to do. And that was a really good finish to that race. And it gets tainted. And you put any two drivers in there and you have the same feeling, like extra, like, so it's just like, you clearly saw him in the tire barrier. I don't know how physics works typically, but it looked like he was not moving. And you either put it out, it's kind of like a simple review. To me, like if it's a spin and he can't get refired, like that's the cautions where I'm like, okay, you try to get it going again. But on these type of cautions, it's kind of clear as day. Like if he's stuck in the tire barrier, you're either putting it out right away or you're like, all right, we're ending this race. There's no in between. And NASCAR decided to go in the in between, which is never not right.
Yeah. And what Jack said about the safety part of it is Honeyman really went into that tire barrier, like you said. Like so
he's
far,
still stuck in it. That's how tight it was.
He became one with the tire barrier in that moment. And
That's
but
what's
like,
apparently he
Reddick
was so far in there that NASCAR couldn't even see him.
that's what
I was going to say that's probably where Tyler Reddick got the idea for what he did to Daniel Hemrick and his rebound yesterday, because he's like, oh, that's eight tires better than 4, so I can.
There you go. But no, I just, if it's really about safety, like if he was actually hurt, then you wasted 20 seconds of response time by not throwing the caution immediately. And so that's the thing. That should be the number one concern. And look, I'll defend NASCAR right here. I get it. Race controls up. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Race controls up there.
Are you trapped? Is NASCAR pointing a gun at you? Blink twice if you're okay.
Let me finish. You'll enjoy this. The guy with the button to push, the caution button, he's got Doritos on one hand. He's got the Cheetos on the other hand. And look, you don't want to get
Don't
that.
forget the pizza. Remember
the
Josh Williams, the pizza.
pizza in the mouth, straw with the soda, and
He's
all
got a
that.
Monster Energy and one on next to him over.
Yeah, it's just you get that cheese residue on your hands, right? And you don't want to get that on the button. You don't want to mess up the button with that. So he's got to lick each finger, like Jameis Winston. And that takes about 20 seconds to lick all.
I wonder if he had Jameis Winston's pre-LASIK surgery eyesight.
that too.
Is that car stuck?
Is that a car or a tire barrier? It just takes that time. By the time he hit the button, Parker was almost at the white flag. So, but no, seriously, you got to get better. I think that everything played out the way it should have. Like there should have been a caution. They should have re-racked him. Sam Mayer won the race. So the result in the end, everything was right. But it's just the way the
process again was messed up.
Yes, the process to getting there is what the problem was. And that's just they gotta get better response.
We've seen an example of this in college football, and Massie and I will be triggered by this. But the Miami Virginia Tech game, if you watch the end, the process was messed up. If you thought it was an incomplete pass, then you think they ultimately got it right. But that process was really messed up. I don't like it's those sort of things where it should not take you 20 in a case like that. If it was Honeyman spun and was stuck in the grass, then I'm okay with the 20 seconds because you're giving Honeyman and the rate to get out of that and the race to play out naturally. And then let's say he's stuck, then I get the 20 seconds. That's fine. But as soon as he's in the tire barrier like that, it's a caution. But if you're not, it's as simple as that.
I think there is something important to remember, and I believe Massie already said it. It was just, everything still played out the way exactly it would have, even if everything went right. Sam Mayer still won on a restart because if everything did go right, NASCAR would have seen Honeyman, the man of honey, in the tire barrier long before.
That's why he was stuck there. He had honey all over.
Yeah, honey all over the place. The guy with the cheese. No, but I mean, he hit that long before, and even if they smacked that caution button as hard as they could, the moment that happened, the restart still would have happened. So I think we're all listen. As much as we want to be angry at somebody, it's just like the Alex Bowman situation. As much as we want to be angry at somebody, there's really no one to be angry at except for Honeyman. No, but there's really no one to be angry at because NASCAR eventually did do what they were supposed to do. Imagine if Parker went by the line and then they threw the caution. Well, okay, look, I know it would have been a great feel-good story, but somebody on Twitter would have come out and said, wow, why did NASCAR wait so long? What do they want Parker? They're just manufacturing stories now. So I think NASCAR
probably would have had a 10-foot one too. So
they probably do, or a Junior Motorsports hat on, but they would have been upset. But the problem is we're not angry at NASCAR for not doing the right thing. Is that we're angry at NASCAR for not doing the right thing immediately.
Not doing the right thing the right way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but it's time. It's time. This is a sport about time.
Sure. Last thing I'll add on this.
There's one thing we've learned. It's you got to be faster on the buzzer.
Yeah, always be faster on the buzzer.
Get faster on the buzzer.
Biggest takeaway from tonight.
I was pro overtime coming into this season. This season has made me anti overtime. That's all it was.
So you're getting even more old man about racing?
Yes. They made me this way.
They turned me into a grumpy old man. That dang NASCAR. All right, we got to move to our next topic. So the AP came out with a weird report. What was it, yesterday, Monday? That there is some espionage happening in NASCAR. So, Dalton Hopkins, I will let you recklessly speculate.
Ladies and gentlemen, get out your laser wristwatches, your sharks with freaking laser beams attached to your heads, and whatever other in briefcase, silence suppressed weapons. I don't even know what. I don't really care about spy stuff, but get them all out. Your listening devices, because we have espionage going on in the sport of NASCAR. which is not really something that I would expect in NASCAR. I kind of expected it more from like Formula One, a sport where it actually has happened before. So, but yeah, the story came out yesterday where from the esteemed reporter Jenna Fryer from AP, who reported that there was a team there was a member, an engineer at Joe Gibbs Racing who was selling information.
Whose contract was up at the end of the year.
Yes. Okay. His contract is up at the end of the year and selling information to a team that is not currently in the playoffs. And I don't really know if did anybody ever specify if that's in the round of 8 or if that's in the round of 16 in general? I haven't heard anything I haven't heard that.
All it said, I think, was non-playoff team.
Non-playoff. Okay. So that leaves a couple teams. And now the speculation is, okay, what team is it? So opening up the floor to everyone now. I mean, we can speculate as much as we can, but we can also speculate what on earth does this mean for the sport of NASCAR? This is what we've become now. Is a sport where there are teams just selling information to other teams in what is, I guess, corporate espionage. So it's weird. It's odd.
Yeah, I could start this off. I'll say, I feel like this is a situation. Look, you've already got situations where like Spire gets information from Hendrick, he pays for it. You know, you got Rickware Racing getting stuff from RFK. So you've already got these sharing information deals. I get this isn't the same thing, but I feel like in this situation, the best thing for NASCAR is to stay out of it and let these teams. It should be a lawsuit team to team, and NASCAR should be hands off about it. Because they have no involvement in others sharing information. So why would they step in here? Are we going to speculate on? I
mean, there was a car that finished after having a streak of 27th. He did get 9th at a road course, 32nd, 25th. Got 12th when his teammate won the race, 4th, 2nd, 7th. Then has shown a little bit more speed lately, and used to have ties to Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean,
yeah, and let's not forget that after a certain person won at Richmond, that Ty Gibbs
said they got faster.
Yeah, it was like, that's kind of weird that they suddenly got faster. So, and Ty Gibbs.
It could also be
the Gibbs team for some reason.
My guess was Legacy Motor Club because they need more. Like that was another guess because they need more info about Toyota. They get nothing from Joe Gibbs, but
but see, the thing is that Joe Gibbs Racing is a winning team. So if you were getting information from Joe Gibbs Racing, you probably would have seen improvement.
They've gotten worse. If it was Legacy, they got worse since they stole the information.
Maybe Matthew Jansen is speculating Trackhouse, which if it means a car not in the playoffs right now, I guess that technically is right. Ross did get faster last month.
Yeah.
So, Jack, you want to recklessly speculate?
I mean, I from the suggestions that are out there, I think RCR, but again, reckless speculation.
Yeah, the problem. Sorry, Trey.
Go ahead, Dalton. I was going to say, is anyone is anyone actually going to get in trouble from this? Is what I want to know. I think it's a no. I think nothing's going to happen.
I do think that I know I just said NASCAR shouldn't get involved, but the engineer that sold said information,
where he goes next might determine who actually did it.
Yeah, but I think that if Joe Gibbs threw a fit to NASCAR, then maybe this person could get blacklisted, from NASCAR.
Well, I was going to say is if, let's say this engineer, obviously RCR is too obvious, ends up maybe an engineer on the, was it going to be the 10 car next year? The 13 car next year for Colleague Racing?
Dillon, the 10 car?
Yeah, 10.
It's going to be the 10 car. All right, the 10 car. I'm just saying it would. I could see it.
Yeah, the problem is that, you know, everyone's like, oh, we got to look at the pattern of what team has gotten better recently, and there's not really any one team that like has absolutely stood out from everyone else. I don't think. I mean, Richard Childress, yeah, but like then again, like Austin Dillon did have that one good finish, had the win at Richmond, but like they also haven't really performed great since. And then you have Kyle Busch, but again, he's Kyle Busch. You know, and he was Kyle Busch performing under pressure. So I'm not ruling them out, but there's also Stewart Haas Racing, just Chase Briscoe, who made it into the round of 12 when no one even thought he was going to make the playoffs, period. Trackhouse, who got mentioned earlier, like Ross Chastain just won a race at Kansas, but then again, he's always been kind of good at mile and a half. So it's all speculation, right? I think it's kind of hard to nail down who it could possibly be. I also thought Legacy Motor Club at first because of their affiliation with Joe Gibbs, but then again, they have to actually like be performing better, I think, and they're definitely not. So,
Womp womp.
yeah, I just feel like the story is appreciated not because it's like, ooh, who is it? It's more of like, why is this happening? This is so weird. Like, why is this even a story in the first place? Like, is NASCAR, like, why is NASCAR even investigating? It's like Massie also said, it's like this should be from team to team. So it's definitely very strange.
But if you're a lawyer, this is a good year for you. If you do sports law or whatever it is, because they're gonna be getting hired left and right for all these cases coming up around in the world of motorsports.
All right, before we go, any last thoughts on this? Okay, before we go, updating the draft for you. Michael Massie and I are in a close battle to the end. Unfortunately, he gets 10 more points because he gets Joey Logano into the round of 8 because of the William Byron.
This is what really matters.
So
the real implications of it.
I genuinely could not care less.
To our credit, Massie and I both have 3 left alive in the playoffs now. Unfortunately for Dalton, Brian did pick his teams. He still has Ryan Blaney.
Can I see? Let me see who he picked real fast.
Yeah, you did have Bowman.
Oh, and you had Alex Bowman.
Why on God's green earth did he pick Eric Jones?
Hey man, look at my guy Zane Smith. That's been a clutch pick for me. I just want to point out he's done well the last half of the season. So shout out to.
Okay, all right.
To be fair, people thought Jones would be good this year. The Toyota.
I didn't.
No. Okay, if we want to go back and really talk about that, Brian thought we were picking new drivers each week. So he picked good super pickers.
Yeah. Now I remember.
So Brian, after I clearly explained the rules, and 3 of the 4 people who did the draft understood the rules, only one didn't. So
he's gonna be hearing about this weekend. I'll be having a word with him.
So I'm at 42.58. Brian, or whatever his name is, Massey's at 42.92, and then Tom and Brian pulling up the rear. It's gonna be a tight battle, Massie, for the title. Just so you know.
I like that we both have 3 in it because it'll be,
it'll be funny. It'll be funny at Martinsville when either like whoever our second guy is for the final spot is battling. Be like, let's go.
Hopefully I can just box you out and I get 3 of the final 4.
We could get 3 of the 4. I feel, I do have 3 of the top 5 in points from the regular season in my list. So, all right, that will do for this episode of Happy Hour. Jack, we'll let you plug anything you want to plug before we get on out of here.
I mean, after Jeopardy, I don't really have anything else, man.
He's sometimes on the pit straight. I guess that's
more now that I'm not trying to learn everything ever. So,
Jack, do you have a Twitter?
I do, yeah. It's at Jack Swansey, which is my name. Here we go. Let's go.
Do you ever write anything on the website?
For Frontstretch? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Every so often. You can go to frontstretch.com for more great racing content.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you write?
The United States Grand Prix is this weekend.
It is.
When's your next column?
When is my next column? I think it's after the finale.
Okay.
Boom.
So yeah, about a month from now.
Wait, which finale? NASCAR or Formula One?
NASCAR.
Okay, got it. Massie, oh no, his Fire on Fridays is even more of an epic rant from last week, so check that out. I think Damcott's doing this week. And Dalton, he kind of teased it. He's heading to Las Vegas. He's going to put $100 on Eric Jones to win, so he can double down on Brian's picks.
I will put 100 on black. I will lose, and then I will walk away.
Well,
also, me and Chase Folsom are at North Wilkesboro this week for the car store finale.
Oh,
check out that content.
I will be not at a race.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of these years we'll send someone from Frontstretch to the USGP. One of these years.
Let's not send Brian Nolan. And on that note, that will do it for this episode of Happy Hour.
Trey, is there something you want to tease? Maybe.
Oh, big announcement tomorrow. Thank you. Make sure you're following Frontstretch on the socials. At Frontstretch, we have a big announcement tomorrow that's involving us. So at Frontstretch on any socials, frontstretch.com. Big, super duper announcement. That's all I can say because I would get in trouble if I said anything else. All right, now I'm good. Did I forget anything else? Oh, make sure you tune in to Bringing the Heat with Brian Nolan. My interview with Doug Rice, the lead announcer for PRN. He's also the president of PRN. He basically helped its foundation of the Performance Racing Network. He's calling his final race this weekend at Las Vegas. Got a conversation with him. It was really good. So make sure you check that out with Bringing the Heat. That comes out if you're listening on the audio feed Thursday. If you're watching this, also on Thursday. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of Happy Hour.